हेलो फ्रेंड्स, कैसे हो आप लोग। सो वेलकम यू ऑल बैक. So myself Puspendra Singh, and we are going to start with our new chapter that is called the living world. Okay. As you aware about the living world, the new chapter which is a part of your botany, which is a part of biology. So we are going to cover the new chapter as a part of your syllabus of NEET, right, for your admission into the medical colleges for MBBS. All right, so in this chapter, we are going to cover various subtopics like, as you know, about the diversity in the living world. So we have, lot of diversity. We will learn about it, how the diversity varies from one place to another place. We will discuss about the taxonomic categories. We will also discuss about the taxonomical aids. Okay, we will also discuss all along this chapter some of the important definitions, the terms that you will basically encounter all throughout your lecture. Okay, so let's begin with the new chapter that is called the living world. Okay, I'm just opening the new page so you can also familiarize yourself. Okay, fine. So as a part of the introduction, okay, so what is the living world? Okay, as you are aware about, the living world around us exhibit a vast range of the life forms or the diversity in the life forms, right, which actually makes this planet wonderful, amazing. Okay, definitely a place to dwell. So that variety of that organism that are flourishing on the earth, they are infinite. Okay, though the scientific community are able to, you know, count few of them or few millions of them, but there are certain other, organisms that are still, not yet counted yet. So their habitats, their habits, their behaviors, they are countless, and moreover they are surprising. So not only this, the habitats, the behaviors, right, they live in all type of extreme type of environment. Okay, be it a cold type of environment, hot deserts, right, the hot springs, even the salty lakes. So they live in the variety of, the environment that seems to be challenging for us, for the humans, but these life forms got evolved over there. Okay, so they are the unique form of life form that they existed over there. Okay, so the nature we see all around, okay, is really beautiful, amazing, right? Because of that diversity, it looks so awesome, right? Besides, our nature also exhibits the countless relationships also. You might have heard about the different types of relationships, like you have the symbiotic relationship, predation, right, cooperation, etc. Different types of relationship. Okay, that relationship exists because we all are part of the ecosystem, or we all are part of this living world. We all are dependent on, some other species for our survival. So that variety of the relationships that are known to occur, specifically, at micro level. Okay, it is not something that at the macro level they exist. They also exist at the micro level, at the cellular level itself. Okay, such molecular interaction occur, inside and around the cells. They also occur among the cells. Okay. When such type of cellular interaction, cellular micro level interaction occur, or such type of molecular interaction occur inside the cell, around the cell, or among the cells, okay, we would be able to learn, right, the more astonishing facts about the life. We will be able to understand, the diversity about the life, right? That is something which is very, very important. So when we want to understand what the life really is, right, we need to dwell into the various aspects, and few of these aspects are able to decipher, able to learn, but few of them are not able to decipher, right? The technical community or the scientific community, they are basically, still working on it, right? And definitely, it holds life is a unique, a complex organization of the different molecules, right? Which organize in a specific pattern, right? And definitely, when you say that different molecules, they organize the specific pattern, right, to form a basic unit. Okay, what we call a basic unit as a cell, right? And you have various types of the chemical reactions also. Okay, such reactions occur inside the basic unit or inside the cells, and such chemical reactions ultimately lead to the energy. Okay, that ultimately leads to the growth, that ultimately leads to the development. Okay, that ultimately leads to the various processes, like you have the metabolism, you have the reproduction, okay, in the living beings. Okay, that is the scientific approach that most of the scientists are following. You can say another type of approach apart from this, this scientific community are doing, you will have the philosophical approach, okay, that are mainly focusing on, the purpose of life, because it's a philosophical, why we exist on the earth, okay, why such diversity exists. So biologists basically study and explain various life forms, okay, from the technical aspect. They also try to classify, different living organisms all along their study. Okay, there may be, the non-living, okay, or there may be a living, right? So they have also developed some universal norms and the process which makes the study, easier, very easier to all of us, right? So that we will be able to appreciate the diversity that exists, all around us. Okay, so let's discuss something which is a very, very important. So what is living? What is living? So we will take another slide. Okay, something which is very, very important. So what is living is all about in the term called, or in this sentence called, the living word. So living organism, what we are talking, so some unique and distinctive characteristic. Okay, so you will have some of the, unique and distinctive characteristics which help us in recognizing and differentiating them from the non-living things. So such type of characteristics we are going to learn. Okay, these characteristics that we are talking, we observe commonly in all living beings. What are these characteristics? You can say the growth, you can say the reproduction, you can say the sensitivity, because the living beings only feel, some sort of a sensitivity. The non-living can't feel. Okay, there are some other features also which are not seen, from outside what we know, right? Some of these features, they are taking place inside, our bodies, or inside there, or you can say the living, organism bodies, but they are not, you can't see them from outside. Such type of characteristics, you can say that you will have the metabolic reactions, okay, that are also existing. Okay, then you have, the self organization. Okay, these living organisms also have the capability to interact and evolve. Definitely, because of that, we have witnessed so many, diversities. So let's learn about, the characteristics of the living beings. Okay, what are the special characteristics that are existing? Okay, so let's talk about it a little bit more. Okay, fine. So as you know that we have seen the growth, right? The growth is the most fundamental characteristics of a living organism. Okay, the non-living cannot have the growth, or they cannot have this characteristic as, the growth. So it is regarded as intrinsic property. Intrinsic property of a living organism, through which they can increase, their mass, right? Their weight, or they can also increase their cells in their body. So all living organisms, whether, they are unicellular, okay, or they are multicellular, okay, they all grow by cell division. That is the most fundamental. They all grow by cell division. So pattern and the duration of this growth is definitely distinct in different, organism. Like you can say, as I tell you that the pattern and the duration of growth, right? That is the two things. So they are different in plants, they are different in growth, okay, or they're different in animals, right? For example, the plants, the growth can occur throughout their lifespan. But when you talk an example of animals, right, they have only the limited period of growth, right, in their lifespan. So that is the reason the pattern and the duration of growth is distinct in different organisms. Take an example of the unicellular. The unicellular organism, like you have the bacteria, amoeba. Okay, the growth occurs, as I told you, by the cell division. Okay, and such cell division can also, or can lead to the growth of their population. So although by such process of cell division the reproduction of individual occurs, right, the growth and the reproduction are mutually inclusive events in unicelled organism, because of that cell division the reproduction occurs. So growth and reproduction are mutually inclusive, right? One can observe the cell division in the unicellular organism, like You can take an example of bacteria. Okay. Outside the body of organism, or you can also observe in a test tube, right, in an artificial medium under the microscope, right? So that can even count the number of cells which increased during the process manually. So in the higher animals and the plants, growth and reproduction are linked, but they are mutually exclusive events. So that is something you must understand. So in the unicellular organism, the growth and reproduction are mutually inclusive, because you can observe the cell division, right? But in higher animals and the plants, you cannot observe directly. So that is the reason the growth and reproduction are, they are linked, but they are mutually exclusive events. But however, this type of cell division not only occurs in the level of living organism, right, at the time of growth and reproduction, but also during the maintenance to replace some of the lost cells during the injury. Sometimes what happens is, we all get the injury, so the cells get damaged or cells get lost. To replace them, we will have some sort of a reproduction. So to maintain the original size, shape and the structure of the body, the new cells are formed, right, by division in various living beings. So the growth involves both increase in mass and the number of cells, isn't it? Which takes place, from inside the body of living organism, and it is irreversible. It is an irreversible process. Okay. On the other hand, you might have experienced the non-living objects, like you have the stones, right, that can also seen growing, like you have seen, for example, the snow mountains, right? The such type of snow mountains, they can also grow by addition of extra snow on the previous one. The crystals got increase in size by addition of molecules on its surface, right? You might have also seen the sand dunes. They also keep growing by frequent transferring of the sands from one location to the another location by the agents of erosion, by many agencies. Like you have the river you have the winds. Okay, so we can easily say that in the non-living objects, the growth is extensive. Just like in the living, the growth is intrinsic characteristic, but in the non-living objects, the growth is extrinsic, right, as compared to the intrinsic growth that is basically found in the living organism. Okay, so therefore the non-living objects can increase their mass by accumulation of materials on the surface, by or with the help of any external agencies. So the growth, therefore, you can say that, cannot be taken as a definiting or defining property of living organism, but definitely it is one of the most important characteristics, as it happens in living as well as the non-living organism. So growth is a characteristic of one living organism where all the conditions are well understood, properly examined, right, from the scientific point of view. Okay, so any doubt till here? We will have 1 minute of small break. Till then, you can basically check it out. If you have any type of doubt, you can basically ask me. We will discuss. Okay, if no doubt, let's move ahead. Let's move ahead, or if you have doubt, you can still ask. Okay, if there is no doubt, definitely we will proceed further. Okay, so let's check. Uh, Basically, okay, we will proceed then if you have no doubt. Okay, okay, let's learn about the new topic that is called the reproduction. That is called the reproduction. So I'll take the new slide. So we will learn more about the reproduction. Okay, so what is the reproduction? As I told you in my previous slide, that the reproduction is also the important characteristics of the living being. So here, the reproduction is the most important or most fundamental characteristics. Can be defined as, you can say, the production of the new individuals in a very simple term. Okay, in a very simple term, it is a production of new individuals of a same kind, by the growth of individuals. So here, it is the characteristic which exhibited by the living organism only, right, which can produce the new young ones of their own kind. So there are the two modes of reproduction. Okay, here. So we will learn briefly about the modes. The one is basically asexual. Second is basically asexual. Asexual and sexual mode of reproduction. In the asexual mode of reproduction, the new individuals are produced from a specialized or any unspecialized part of single parent, because here the sexual the intercourse, or you can say the two individuals do not exist. So from the single parent, okay, from the single parent you will have specialized or unspecialized part. From there the new individuals are basically produced. So here, either with the involvement of gametes, okay, or without involvement of gametes. Through both, such type of reproduction can be there. You can take an example of the unicellular organism, like you have the bacteria, you have algae, you have amoeba. Okay, the division occurs by fission, okay, to produce the new individuals. Okay, so such type of division that is occurring in such type of unicellular organism, that ultimately leads to the production of the new individual. The process that involved is basically the fission. Okay, in such process, the parent body, okay, they undergoes the division to form two or more individuals. Okay, the number of cells definitely increases. Okay, so hence you can say in the unicellular organism, the reproduction is synonymous with the growth. Okay, let's take another slide. Okay, so here in the lower organism, okay, lower organism, you have basically the yeasts and you have the hydra, right? Here the budding takes place. Okay, the budding takes place in which the new individuals are basically produced. Okay, by the formation of an outgrowth that we call basically bud. Okay, different birds or these birds first grow on the parent body itself. Then what happens is they separate from the parent body to give rise of new individual. So there are fragmentation. Okay, so there are the fragmentation, which is also another mode of asexual reproduction. Okay, as we have seen that the first these birds grow on the parent body and they separate. Okay, so here they subsequently breaks up into two or more parts or individuals or fragments, and each of these fragments or individuals, they grow into the new individuals or offsprings, you can say. So it is quite common in certain organisms, like you have the filamentous algae, you have fungus, you have bryophyte. Okay, and another type of organism that found basically is called the planaria. The planaria, or we call them the flat worms. Okay, such type of flat worms, they exhibit extraordinary ability to regenerate its lost body. Okay, the lost parts that are completely taken out, which is called basically the true regeneration. So this is a method of reproduction as the new planarians develop by splitting of the parent planarian body either lengthwise, okay, or in the transverse direction. So such type of flatworms where you will have the ability to generate its lost body parts. Okay, so the reproduction occurs by splitting of the parent planarian body either in the lengthwise or in the transverse direction. In a higher organism, let's say in the plants or animals, the sexual mode of reproduction is quite common. Sexual mode is quite common in the higher organism. So which involve the formation of the gametes. Gametes are nothing but, you can say, the sex cells, okay, from the two parents of opposite sex. But definitely these parents are of same species. These gametes or the sex cells, okay, these ultimately fuse together and after fusing, they form the zygote. Right? For example, as I told you that there are the two parents of opposite sex. So let's say N. These sex cells are there. So when they fuse, they form the 2N zygote, right? Which ultimately develops to form the new organism of the same kind as the parents are. So hence the reproduction is shown by all living organisms, except, very few which are either sterile, infertile, like you have the mule, okay, the worker bee, okay, you will have the infertile human couples that do not reproduce at all. So these cannot produce their offsprings but show all the characteristics of living organism. So although no living objects can replicate itself by its own, the power of replication or production of new individuals of their own kind is totally absent in them. Okay, so you can say the reproduction can be regarded as the important characteristics of the living organism, but it is not their exclusive defining characteristics. Okay, so as we have learned in this important chapter that there are certain organisms which can reproduce by fragmentation. We have seen that a filamentous algae, we have fungi, we have bryophytes that can basically reproduce by fragmentation. Okay, ठीक So in the next chapter, or in the next class, we will learn the metabolism. Okay, the metabolism, which is an important process. So we will learn about the metabolism in our next class. All right, so we'll end our class. Thank you very much. We'll meet again in the next class.